Straight ahead on CCX News, a closer look at business development along Highway 610 and how it's turned into a hub for manufacturing. Plus, shaping a city, how the University of Minnesota has had a hand in determining the Brooklyn Park of tomorrow. But first, a cyber attack felt across the globe, one that's being watched closely by local police. CCX News starts right now. Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining us. They are calling it the largest cyber attack in history. The WannaCry Ransomware is threatening computers across the globe, shutting down hospitals, banks, and government organizations. Locally, folks aren't taking any chances, and reporter Sonia Goins shows us how the Crystal Police Department is taking precautions.
This is a live map of different types of cyber attacks that are happening across the globe.
While computer cyber attacks are common, the WannaCry ransomware is widespread, vicious, and dangerous. So far, 57,000 computers in more than 150 countries have been infected.
This most recent ransomware attack is a much larger scale than what we've seen in the past.
The WannaCry is a Trojan virus that is mostly attacking Microsoft Windows systems. The virus is bad because it encrypts computer files and demands ransom in order to get the files back.
I don't like the idea of paying ransom, so I can't recommend that. But I will tell you that it's our experience that when ransom is paid, the data is unlocked.
Anytime we see something like this, we're concerned.
The Crystal Police Department would be in a jam if its computer systems went down because of ransomware. Critical and classified information are stored on its servers.
Those do have implications for us, and we want to make sure that we are doing what we can to make sure that we're not going to become victims and that we're not going to expose public data.
The Crystal Department is trying to get ahead of any cyber attacks. They are constantly backing up data, so if anything gets lost, they can retrieve it. And officials are asking staff to be vigilant when it comes to cyber viruses.
We do training with staff, anti-phishing training, so that people aren't clicking on links they shouldn't click on, aren't opening email attachments they shouldn't be opening.
The reason you need to be careful with emails is because some viruses are spread through phishing emails. The emails trick people into opening an attachment that launches the virus.
They know that maybe we're not reading that email as carefully as we should. So slow down, take your time, be careful before you click.
Sonia Goins, CCX News.
Experts also highly recommend keeping your operating and security systems up to date. And there is some good news here. The ransomware virus does appear to be slowing down. The FBI is now offering up to a $10,000 reward to find a man with ties to Brooklyn Park. According to authorities, 41-year-old Philip Leron Miller is suspected of shooting and killing a man in Columbia Heights. Miller is charged with murder as well as unlawful flight to avoid prosecution. Anyone with information is urged to call the FBI Minneapolis field office at 763-569-8000. In Golden Valley, an agreement has been reached to prevent collapse of the 10th Avenue North area over Bassett Creek by replacing the bridge culverts. The City Council is expected to approve the agreement between city staff and Union Pacific Railroad, which also travels over that part of Bassett Creek. On that section of road near City Hall, several cracks have formed due to rapid deterioration of the culverts. There's also concern about flooding issues unless the massive culverts get replaced. Under the agreement, the city and the railroad would split the $1.5 million cost. As the school year comes to a close, so too does a major project in Brooklyn Park that will shape the city's future. The city teamed up with the University of Minnesota on a 9-month project where students examined a variety of issues affecting residents and businesses. And Delane Cleveland joins us now to explain. Delane?
Mike, the collaboration between the city and the U of M is called the Resilient Communities Project. Nearly 300 students completed work on 24 projects. The students' findings will be used to implement city policies for years to come.
I think it's great that the U allows us to go out in the community and actually use what we're learning in class and apply it. And I think this was a great opportunity to do so because they have so many students working on the Resilient Communities Project. So I think they're going to get a lot from it.
Stephanie Boylan was one of the 300 students involved in the Resilient Communities Project. Her role was to assess the access to healthy food for a section of Brooklyn Park called the Zane Avenue Corridor. Her final task was to present her findings and a list of recommendations to people at Brooklyn Park City Hall today. Since September, students from various U of M colleges worked on a total of 24 projects within the city, ranging from potential changes the city could make to its park system, to how to diversify the police department, to how North Hennepin Community College could use its undeveloped land.
The partnership was fantastic. We were really grateful to be selected, and we're really excited about the recommendations that the students came up with. It's great stuff. They brought an innovative, fresh approach to some of these problems that we've been turning over for a while, and we're looking forward to seeing what we can do with them.
The last group of students will present their results to city officials in the coming weeks. The city paid the U of M a $40,000 fee to participate in the study. Hennepin County and North Hennepin Community College contributed $5,000 apiece. Mike?
All right, Delane, thanks. A kid-friendly zip line highlights new play equipment that formally opens to the public at a park in New Hope today. The double zip line at Northwood Park is 50 feet long and has already been getting a workout from young and old. It's the first time New Hope has put that kind of a feature into park play equipment. New Hope officials say it's a popular park that attracts people from a wide area. A neighborhood committee worked with the city on the design. The park equipment has changed a lot since the last time that park was updated 20 years ago.
Just so many different things to look at and add, and it allows the committee to kind of pick kind of fun things that they like and put a park together that's kind of their dream.
The city also upgraded the trails that run around the park. The cost of the new equipment and the trails came in at $350,000. In Brooklyn Center, new playground equipment assembled by volunteers is nearly ready for business. Final touches are going in at Centennial Park. Most of the assembly work was done earlier this month by volunteers from the Luther Automotive Group, which has several dealerships in Brooklyn Center. And city staffers also helped put the pieces together. The new playground should be able to accommodate 3 times as many children. It was a milestone weekend for Brooklyn Park firefighters. The city celebrated the 60th anniversary of the Brooklyn Park Fire Department. The event offered kids some fun insight on what it takes to be a firefighter. It was also a proud moment for people like Ken Houchins. Ken was one of the original members of the fire department back in 1957. When we asked Ken about the differences being a firefighter today compared to back then, it didn't take long to get an answer.
300%. It is marvelous, the equipment they've got. They can take care of any tragedy that's going on. They've got the equipment to work at it.
Ken says it would have been nice to have all the modern equipment during his time in the fire department, but he says it would also have been a heck of a lot of work keeping it up. Thanks to Plymouth Police, there is a chance for a happy reunion story. Plymouth Police were called out for a rescue in a storm drain Monday morning. They arrived in the nick of time, and you could say the story ended just ducky. These ducklings were pulled out and given a new lease on life. And thanks to Jameson for posting these photos on Twitter. And it's hard to beat that. Still ahead, could it be the manufacturing hub of the North? How Brooklyn Park has its eyes on some significant job growth. Plus, highlights from the annual Maple Grove Osseo softball extravaganza game. But first, more thunderstorms on the radar. It could affect sporting events on Tuesday evening. Commercial real estate companies say Brooklyn Park's business climate is better than ever. The newly opened 169 Business Center is just another example of the city's growth. We get more in this week's Business Matters from Eric Nelson.
Brooklyn Park is thriving, there's no question about it. There's good labor up here, there's good product up here.
Brooklyn Park is quickly morphing into a business hub. Companies such as Olympus, Takeda, and others have flocked to the city.
Not everybody can have the retail hub of the region, so we're looking at us as being the manufacturing and job opportunity place.
The whole industrial community is excited about this part of town.
The brand new 169 Business Center is another key piece to Brooklyn Park's business puzzle. The facility has an 11-acre footprint, and already has had a magnetic tug on companies looking to relocate.
Now we've leased 65,000 square feet to a company called Staging Concepts, and we've got proposals and heavy interest on the remainder of the property.
There are currently 28,000 jobs in Brooklyn Park, and that total is projected to grow.
The Metropolitan Council has given us a goal of 40,000 jobs, but we've often talked about 50,000 jobs.
In the past 4 years, there has been 2.2 million square feet of development in the city.
Half of that being speculative development, meaning really smart industrial developers are coming up here and putting buildings up without tenants, hoping and knowing that they will come.
Yes, the just build it and they will come mindset is paying off for Brooklyn Park. Also, the proximity to the 610 corridor and other major roads is a huge plus.
You've got 169, you've got 610, you've got 694, you've got all the major thoroughfares for both employees and trucking.
Add up all of these assets, and it equals a hot business climate for Brooklyn Park.
Years ago, the business climate was totally different than what it is today. I mean, the perception was different, the user pool was different.
There will soon be a cluster of hotels popping up along the 610 corridor. Groundbreaking begins next week for a Home 2 Suites by Hilton and a Hampton Inn at this location. Reporting in Brooklyn Park, I'm Eric Nelson, CCX News.
And Brooklyn Park is also getting a new Fairfield Inn, and construction on that begins later this year. Still ahead, a foreign invasion in downtown Osseo. But first, defending state champion Wayzata tries to notch another conference win in baseball. John Jacobson has the highlights next in sports.
I'm John Jacobson with sports. The 13th annual softball battle between Osseo and Maple Grove is a fundraiser for the fight against cancer, too. The teams met under the lights on a beautiful spring evening. A night game at Maple Grove Middle School for the Orioles and the Crimson. It's scoreless until the top of the third. Maple Grove's Ava Dewick sending one deep and over the fence for a 3-run homer as the Crimson take the lead. Bottom of the 7th, the Osseo Orioles trying to rally, and a Densley groundout brings home Hannah Carmen, and it's 4-2. But Dewick closes the door. She gets a strikeout to end the game. The Crimson win it on a special night for both teams.
I think it's just a big part of our season. It is a big game for all of us, and so it just really gets us going, and as my teammate Cash would say, put some juice in our game. So I just think it was a really fun event, and me being new here this year, it was a brand new experience, so I just really loved it.
Defending state Class 4A baseball champion Wayzata look to beat Eden Prairie for a second time this season. Trojans hosting the Eagles at Central Middle School. Wayzata grabs the lead in the bottom of the first inning. Chad Musser singles to center field. That brings Danny Dice in for the first run of the game and the start of a big inning for Wayzata. Will Oberg at the plate. He's a pitcher, and he can certainly hit, too. He drives this one the opposite field, the right center, and it is gone. A 3-run homer makes it 4-0 Trojans after one. Eden Prairie battles back in the second inning. Matt Dolan at the plate, and he'll drive the ball to the right field corner here. Ryan Robleski comes around to score as the Eagles pull within 4-1. Oberg, though, settles in. He'll get one of his 9 strikeouts over 5 2/3 strong innings for Wayzata. And the Trojans get some solid defense to back their pitchers, too, as they look to hold the Eagles in check. Eden Prairie getting some pressure on, but Wayzata does the job on the field, and they hold on for a 4-2 win over Eden Prairie. After a slow start to the season, the Armstrong girls lacrosse team is now building momentum toward the section playoffs later this month. Falcons were looking for their 3rd straight win as they are home against Centennial. First half of this one, Armstrong's Ann Colwell curls from behind the Cougars' net, comes out front to score. Gives the home team a 1-0 lead. Short time later, Maggie Hansen, almost the same move here, rounds the net and fires a shot high into the Centennial net. That goal makes it 3-0. Good effort by Hansen on this next goal. She'll fall down here, get back up, able to get around the defender, and shoot and score for another goal. And that puts the Falcons ahead 4-0. Centennial pulled to within 6-3, but in the final seconds of the first half, Armstrong's Olivia Hecht puts the shot away. That's her 2nd goal of the night and makes it 7-3 at halftime. Early second half, Colwell on the loose for the Falcons. Makes a nice run to the net to score, giving the Falcons an 8-3 lead. Madeline Moore comes from behind the net. She'll reverse and then fire a shot in from close range. Armstrong dominates most of the night. They win 16-4. Of highlights from Maple Grove Armstrong boys lacrosse Tuesday starting at 4 here on CCX News. The state True Team track and field meet is this Friday in Class 3A at Stillwater Area High School. The Class 2A and 1A meets are on Saturday. Here's your recap of some of the section meets last week involving area teams. Wayzata boys captured the 7-3A title with Edina in second. Hopkins was third and Minnetonka fourth. Armstrong and Cooper were in the 9 and 10 slots. On the girls' side, it was Minnetonka edging out Wayzata by 11.5 points for the top spot. Edina's third, followed by Eden Prairie and Hopkins. Armstrong 7th and Cooper 10th. In Section 4-3A, Champlin Park, the top local boys team in 4th place behind Elk River, Anoka, and Andover. After the Rebels, Osseo is 5th, Maple Grove 6th, Rogers 8th, and Park Center 9th. On the girls' side, it's Maple Grove placing 3rd behind Anoka and Elk River. Champlin Park 5th, Osseo 7th, Rogers 8th, and Park Center 9th. In Class 2A, the Centennial Grace boys and Benilde St. Margaret's girls each won team titles in Section 4. And that is it for sports today. Mike, back to you.
All right, John, thanks a lot. Well, still ahead, if you were detoured into Osseo over the weekend, it turned into quite the fun, foreign experience. We'll show you more coming up next. And finally, putting mom in the driver's seat on Mother's Day weekend. Downtown Osseo, everything from a vintage Mercedes-Benz to Austin Healey's and Datsun Roadsters to Rolls Royces. Even this little guy, a BMW Wayzata 300. It was all part of the 25th annual Vintage Foreign Car Show spring kickoff. Gene Wagner made the trip from Rogers and is a proud owner of a Mazda sports car. He says his personalized "Hi Gene" license plate sometimes catches him off guard.
I stopped at a stop sign. Someone says, "Hi, Gene," and I looks around, and I didn't know the people. I forgot about the license plate. Other than that, it's been a nice car to have.
We had to ask what he was doing with his 1993 Mazda Miata amid the Rolls Royces. Well, Gene says he hangs out at the local body shop and just could not pass up the opportunity to see the old cars. A lot of fun to look at that. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you back here again Tuesday, starting at 4.